Okay. I should be live on Twitch now.
On TikTok?
Twitch.
I don't see you live on Twitch.
I just went live. I should be live now. Okay. Sorry guys. Trying to look at adding where I'm trying out a new beta. I'm a beta tester for the new vertical view for Twitch, which is really cool. You should, I don't know if it gives you an option to see it either horizontal, like the full desktop, or vertical, or I'm not sure. But there's a new thing to be able to do that. And it also allows you to excuse me. It also allows you to do multi-streaming, which is not quite working well for me. So that's what I was trying to do, but I'll have to figure that out later. We can do the kinks or try to work out the kinks later on that one. But for now, I wanted to do a mental health Monday. I realized that I won't be able to do a mental health Monday because I had originally planned. Thank you for the sub. 32 months. That's how long I've been an affiliate, is 32 months. Can you believe that? Wow. That's exciting. Okay. Anyway, so today I wanted to talk about of course I don't know why that's not coming up in the chat. It should be. What's wrong with my chat box? Type something in the chat. I don't know what's going on. My programs aren't liking me. Okay, well, we can still talk about things. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Did you hear me? Type something in the chat. I don't know if she turned me on mute. You know what? We'll type something in the chat. Why don't I do that? There. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. Perfect. There's the chat. All right. So, uh, anyway, so this shows there's a vertical view and then the normal view. So this is a new format that Twitch is doing, and I'm a beta tester for it. Hopefully, I'll be able to get it to where I'm streaming on multiple platforms as well. We will see. We'll have to work out the kinks on that one because it wasn't going very well. No, I wasn't able to get Instagram to work. I mean, I can try to click on it again and see what happens. I just clicked live. On Instagram. I feel like it's lying to me. Let's see. It says it's supposedly supposed to be working, but it's not. Do I like not have the ability to actually go live on here? Maybe I don't actually have the ability to go live on here. I should be able to. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so continuing on. That will be a later problem. We'll hopefully at least be able to get like TikTok going or something. I don't know. YouTube. Well, we'll figure it out. We're gonna try to get hopefully more platforms going. But for today, we will continue on with Mental Health Monday. So I realized that I have my sympathetic nerve block towards the beginning of January. So I won't really be able to, things always get really chaotic right before my nerve blocks, and then I'll have to recover and everything. So I realize this is probably the best time for me to be able to do a Mental Health Monday because I don't know how easily it's going to be for me to be able to do one until maybe the end of January. and I wanted to talk about the new year. So, New Year is a very complicated thing, I personally think. So, it can be very exciting, because there's new year, new start, new, yeah, it's a new year, right? Um, I personally am excited finally for the new year because this is a time I actually really do need a new start. I need a new start. I need a new year that doesn't involve certain people in my life. So I am excited finally for that. Usually I don't like New Year's because to me I see it more as an ending. And I know everybody says like, "Oh, no, no, you're not focusing on it the right way." But some people do. Some people do see it as an ending. And it is. It is. It's that whole, one thing has to end for another thing to begin. And the actual New Year is a perfect example of that. Now, here's the thing. I know that New Year's resolutions are a huge, huge, huge thing. I'm not saying that they're bad. I personally don't think they are the wisest thing to do. Hello, One Gun. How are you doing? Or I'm sorry, Grave. You go by Grave. Hello, Grave. How are you doing? Exactly. One door closes for another one to open. Exactly. Right. So, and that can be for, a lot of things in life. Now, that brings up a good point of these doors don't necessarily open and close. While yes, technically your date changes. You put 2026 instead of 2025. The doors that, the one door closed for another door to open, that's happens whenever it needs to happen. It doesn't happen on a calendar basis. I mean, sure, the New Year's like can be seen as a good way as a fresh start type of thing. But yeah, when things need to change, it will usually change when it needs to change, not necessarily always when you want it to change. But I do know that a lot of people like to try to make goals, New Year's resolutions, for the beginning of the year. Now, here's the thing about this. Like I said, it's not that they're bad. There's nothing wrong with them. However, I do not recommend them personally. Oh, okay. And let me put my statement out. I usually do, but just real quick, I do have a degree in psychology. I have my own history of mental health, and any stories I share about other people are ones I have permission, like Llama Mama. And I'm not a licensed therapist, even though I do have a degree in psychology. Just wanted to make that disclosure. Anyway, so the reason why I personally do not recommend New Year's resolutions is because I feel that they are a good way to be disappointed and to actually negatively affect our mental state. This is me personally. For some people, it works. Honestly, a lot of people, it doesn't. It's good to have goals. It's very good to have goals. Um, I've had an ongoing goal that I've been working on. But I didn't start it with the new year, I started it when I needed to start it. So, I had put on, and I know this is a very common one for people, people often go to, "Oh, I wanna lose weight, I wanna get more fit, blah, blah, blah." But I actually did, at one point in time, get to an unhealthy weight, because I do have risk of diabetes in my family, so it became a legitimate health concern. Well, I started working on it in, like, yes, I would agree with that. I started working on it in like I started like August or something last year. I really started working on it in like August of last year. So it was not at the beginning of the year. It was, I didn't do this New Year's resolution. I just I really realized how bad it was, and I really started to focus, and I had friends that were really great and helped make a plan for me. And so now more than a year later, um, I have lost about over 50 pounds and I've gained muscle. And for the first time since I broke my leg, which was 15 years ago, I've actually built muscle on my calves and my legs, so able to withstand I'm able to actually have strength that I didn't have since I broke my leg. So it's a really exciting thing. Um, but again, I started this in August. I didn't start it with the new year, but there's nothing wrong with doing that to try to have that as an encouragement. The thing about it is that a lot of times people will make New Year's resolutions and they make because the whole idea behind it is you make a goal for this upcoming year. That's the idea of it. Is you're making an ultimate goal that you want to accomplish for the year. Here's the thing is there's a lot that happens in a year. A lot of unpredictable things that happen in a year. So you can't um that's something that I feel like people don't necessarily factor in is that it's a great idea to be like, "Oh, I want to be here by the end of the year." That's a nice plan. That's a great idea, but there's a lot of things that could potentially end up causing that to be rather difficult to accomplish. And the other thing is people expect the results to be right away. For example, losing weight. People go, "Okay, you know, January 1st, I'm gonna go in the gym," and then they like have this momentum for a couple days and then they lose it because they're not seeing instant results. Now, there's a whole segment I could do later on about weight journey in a mental health capacity because a lot of my journey was mental, and so we can do that one later. But right now, that is just one I know that is a common goal is that people have this goal and they don't see results right away, and then they get discouraged, they get upset, and they give up, or they head in strong, and life happens, and then the whole I'm gonna go to the gym every day doesn't end up happening because something prevents it. Because I mean, the reality of it is I tried really hard to stay on top of my workouts, but I mean, you get sick, get busy, you get all these other things, and the most important thing is for you to take care of yourself and to listen to your body. So, things get in the way of that, and then people lose the momentum and get discouraged, and so then that I feel like is kind of one of those things that's leading to setting you up for failure. Instead, it's better to set smaller goals. And I personally, I mean, if it really makes you feel better to do it as a new year type thing because that's just what helps for your way of thinking, that's totally fine. But I personally think it's best to just have goals. Just like, my goal today was getting out of bed and brushing my teeth and making sure I took my medication. All right, that is a great solid goal. There is nothing wrong with that. I know I did those things. So, I feel like New Year's resolution should be more like goals, solid, just little goals that you make. And I also think that it's important to try to break it down into the month. Even the week. You can do it in a day, but a day to day basis is going to be hard. But I mean, you could definitely do a week. Like I said, there's going to be weeks where you're going to get sick or things are going to be busy, or like I go walk a mile and it's raining right now. So I can't, I'm not going to go walk in the rain. It sounds like a very bad idea for me. Um, that's an allergy attack waiting to happen. so, um, oh, I think I'm a little more, I would say, I mean, people set unrealistic goals. No good, and well, they don't have the mental fortitude or motivation to get them done and to disappoint themselves constantly. Exactly. See, this is it. Yes, this is the thing. So that's another thing. That is a very good point. Is a lot of people do make these New Year's resolutions. Oh, and don't let this discourage you. If you have friends that are making these New Year's resolutions that are huge and big, and your goal is just to make it through the month, that's like I said, to make sure you get done what you need to get done on a daily basis, basic goals. Like I need to drink a glass of water because I don't hydrate enough. if that don't think that your goals, whatever goals that you're having, don't compare them to other people because yes, a lot of people will make unrealistic goals. And that's the other thing. Try not to make unrealistic goals. Make smaller goals. That's yeah, that was kind of where I was getting to. Make smaller goals. You can have a larger goal in mind, but make small goals because then they're more achievable. It's easier to truly be proud of big things when you learn how to be happy with achieving smaller goals. Exactly. So, and a lot of times big things, they take small steps. They take time. And that's just it. Is the longer like the ones that take the more time and take the smaller steps and take the harder work because those each of those small steps take more work and take more time, that makes that achieving that big goal even more fulfilling. I speak from experience. Um, Keeping realistic. Exercise is a big goal. Yes. Don't say I'm gonna lose 10 pounds this year. Think to yourself, I'm actually going to go for a walk or step foot in the gym and then go. Exactly. Very good point. That's yes. That is exactly a perfect way to do it. Is instead of because I did that when I very first decided to try to go on my journey of getting myself into shape. I, of course, originally had this, oh, I want to be down at this way at this by this point in time. Well, that's not how it happened, which is actually good. The progress that I've made has been slower than, of course, I originally had planned, but actually, it's been a much healthier and much better. And because it's been taking longer, and I have seen the progress and the hard work and the time and the effort, it's been a bigger reward, actually, um, because I've done it the right way. Because that's just it. Is it's not just don't focus on trying to lose instead of focusing on don't focus on trying to lose weight. If it is a matter of you are trying to lose weight, focus on trying to do things, making goals like, oh, let me go for a walk. Let me go to the gym. Let me, make the goals be focused on things that can help you achieve that. Like for example, one thing that did help me was I used to drink like nothing but soda ever. That's pretty much all I ever had. Now I still drink soda. I love my soda and I will never give up my soda. I love soda. But I cut back on soda a lot. I drink a lot more water. Um but I still I mean, I at least have I usually have about a soda a day still, if not and then of course there's days that I have like, when I go to Disney and whatever and I have but then I've gotten to the point where I don't actually crave it as much as I used to. So it just kind of depends. Um but yeah, I cut back on it. So that's, that was one of my first goals was to cut back on soda because that was something that I know was not contributing positively to my weight. So I cut back on soda, sparkling water, and I love okay, sparkling water, yes. Sparkling water, that's exactly what I do too. That is such a huge thing. I love sparkling water because it gives that feel of a soda without you actually having a soda. And of course, there's situations because like Llama Mama has to drink a soda when she eats a meal because otherwise it messes up her blood sugars like really, really bad. So there are circumstances, but she does drink a lot more water throughout the day and stuff. Um, and she drinks a lot of the sparkling water with me. Her favorite, she loves bubbly. But yeah, the sparkling water is great because it makes you kind of give that because especially ones that have flavored sparkling water because then it kind of feels like a soda because you've got the carbonation, you've got a little bit of flavor, and then it's a good way to help you cut back or quit. And that's the other thing is you have to keep in mind that it needs to be a lifestyle choice. A lot of these things, a lot of New Year's resolutions that people make require lifestyle changes. And by that, I mean not until it's accomplished. I mean, you make this is something that you're going to continue to do through your life. One of the things, because one of the things I did was go walk and try to do 10 to 20 minutes of yoga as often as I could. I try every day. It just depends on what happens, but the goal is every day. And like I said, I am kind to myself about, okay, I'm not feeling good, but then I need to get back on top of it, actually, speaking of which. But besides the point, um, small goals. Accomplish the small goals. And you'll start to see where those things will add up. So instead of focusing on a big goal that you want to do, focus on a small goal that can help you get to your big goal. You know, I know another one is a lot of people like to do travel. I want to travel more this year. That's another one. That's a big one. Um, Instead of trying to, that's one of those things where you go, okay, you first look at what is something that is hindering my ability to travel. A lot of times it's money because nobody has money nowadays. um, but that's one of those things where you go, all right, if I really do want to try to go travel more, let me pick a place that maybe I would like to first try to accomplish going to. Or let me do some research to see what might be the most achievable of different spots that I want to go to. And kind of make a travel plan and then put money aside for it. And it may be like a matter of, okay, I can only put $10 aside this month or whatever. It's focused more on that, okay, what I need to do for travel is I need to make sure I have money. So let me make the goal of putting this amount of money in this, you know, amount of time, and then go from there. So find the small goals that help you to the big goal. Because yes, when you focus more on the big goal, it gets scary, you get frustrated, it's so unrealistic feeling, especially once you start to take that first step and you're like, "Wow, I'm nowhere near that." That's because those big goals take time. So, you can have this and don't do it as and I learned this I learned this from other reasons. Um I had This isn't really a New Year's resolution, but it kind of has the same idea. So I had a goal that I was going to be in medical school by the time I was 30. I turned 30 this year. I am not in medical school at the moment. I still plan to go. However, COVID came along and ruined these plans and put a total wrench in my whole plan there. But I'm glad in the long run because there are a lot of things that I have learned about myself. There was a lot of things that I needed to be able to work through and do. And I still feel like there are things that I need to work through and do and focus on before I devote my whole life. Because once I step into medical school, that's my whole life. Like right now, I'm enjoying streaming. I enjoy doing embroidery. I'm enjoying various things before I start medical school. Because once I do, a lot of those things I'm not gonna be able to do them like I do now. Um, But I got really upset, very, very upset with myself for when I turned 30 that I wasn't getting, that I didn't, I, that goal wasn't where I wanted it. So, now what I've done is I've sat and I reflected, why have I not, what has stopped me from achieving this goal? Is anything that I can fix? What can I do to try to then work towards it, or what is it that I need to work on before I can work towards it? So like one of the big things was getting myself physically healthier because I wouldn't be able to stand and everything like need to because I need to do some volunteer work and I wouldn't be able to last year my body wasn't in the position to be able to do that. So that's something that I've started to work on. There's other things that more mental things and stuff that I feel like I need to strengthen before getting into that because that's a whole different beast. But yeah, that's the little goals. Okay, I realize that I need to work on this and I need to work on this and then, you know, do the little steps And they can be so small. They don't have to be, this major leap like, "Oh, like, my next goal is to do the MCAT by the end of the year." No, 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 no. My goal is to try to make sure I read a scientific article this week or something like that. Something smaller. I try that is something I do. I do try to keep I try to read and keep updated in scientific news on Nature. So it is something where I'm still keeping involved. I'm still keeping that mindset. Um, but it, it's something it's a smaller step that is still an important step. So this is something I recommend with the new year, and don't let other people like Graves said. People have these huge unrealistic things and then can be discouraging to people who have I know because I've dealt with it where I've heard people talk about like, oh, my goal is to do this, da 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 da, and I'm like, I just want to like make it through the day. I just want to make it through the year still breathing. Is that a goal? Is that cool? It is. So don't allow these people who have these big goals. Don't let other people's goals influence or have any kind of impact on your goals. Let them be their goals, and maybe you end up actually having to help them with their goals because they have this huge unrealistic goal, and maybe you go, "Hey, I noticed that you wanted to do this. Why don't like for example, trying to lose weight. Hey, I noticed that you wanted to lose weight. Do you want to join me on a walk?" You could do that. You could try to help each other. Because yeah, people do. They do have these unrealistic goals, and I know people another thing that people do is vision boards. And I personally I get it, but I don't. I feel like they're not much different. I mean, maybe they're. I don't know. I've never done one. Whenever I need to look at something for like there's times that I'm like, okay, I want inspiration for something, then I'll look something like I'll look up at a picture or something that, is inspiring. But for me, if I were to have done a vision board, I feel like it would only like it would discourage me because I'm thinking about some things that I would have put on a vision board about a year ago, and they would have it would have seriously upset me. So, um, it's a great idea, but again, it's better to try to have instead of going over the whole year because you don't know what's going to happen in the year. Trust me. Trust me. This year was not there was a lot of things that happened this year that I did not expect. Some good, some bad. So, but there was a lot of things that happened. In fact, I started minute 1 with a very different mindset. I'm glad that that is gone, but the point is I was expecting a whole year with a person that I am glad is no longer in my life and is much better. But the point is, I literally started like minute 1 talking about how excited I am to spend, to see what happens in this year. Yeah, no, see, this is what I'm talking about. Be careful about these things. Be careful because you don't know what the future holds. You really don't. So it's better to go smaller. If you want to have an overall goal of an overall big goal, don't put a time on it. The minute you put a time on it, also, that seems to just not go well because I feel like the universe, as soon as you say, oh, by this time, I'm going to be here, the universe goes, you know what? No, you're not. Maybe try again in 3 weeks. But then there's also look at it in a different way too, because like there was times that I had certain markers of once I started to get a little more realistic about my weight journey, I started to have markers like by this time frame I want to be able to like one of them was Comic-Con back in July. So I one of the things that was my goal, and I kind of, instead of it being a goal, I kind of did it as a goal slash like manifestation type of thing. Um, and that's another thing about that you can kind of do with goals too. Uh, that my what I wanted was to be able to comfortably fit into the cosplays that I had planned and actually like the pictures, and I did. Um, because I wore the same cosplays. One of them I was a newer one, but there was two cosplays that I wore this year that I had worn the year before, and I mean, it was a huge difference. I mean, one of them I can't even wear now because it's way too big, and last year it was I barely could fit into it. So that was really, really cool, really exciting, really important, like really special. But I did it to where it was like, okay, I'm gonna keep working towards it. And that's the other thing is, keep up the more positive view of it, of okay, think about the progress you've made. Don't focus on what you haven't made, what you were hoping. Focus on the progress you made. You know what? It doesn't matter that like you did go to the gym sometime this week. Great. Now you might have had the goal to go every day, but you went at least one time this week. So then you try to make it two times the following week. And that's again with the being realistic is that the gym is a lot more intense than you think it is. And a lot of these lifestyle changing goals do take time to build up. It's not like it's no different than like, cutting off like it's no different than like going cold turkey on something. You don't wean yourself off of it. You don't just go, "Oh, we're done." You don't just go, "Oh, we're there." So you kind of go a little more slowly and progressively. So that's where those small goals, and like really, really focus on those small goals. And I mean, like, even make them, if you think they're small, break it down to an even smaller level. And then at the end of the week, at the end of the month, check in with yourself. See how you did. And think about how you maybe want to try, what you want to try to do more. At first, my goals were to walk 3 times a week. And now I try to go every day. Like I said, there's things that influence it, but that's besides the point. But I mean, and there was times that it actually really even started with going on a walk once a week. And then it became 3 times a week. And then it became almost every day. And then it became um a longer wanting to go for a longer time frame and everything. So it just depends. But yeah, don't be afraid to do once you have a goal, don't focus on such a large goal. Think of a small goal. Then make it smaller and make it smaller and make it as small as you like, a baby step. Really focus on baby steps because the baby steps are really what's going to get you. I mean, babies take small steps for a reason. They get there. so, so and once they get going, they get going. But you have to learn how to walk. So, and that's with anything. When you're talking about a lifestyle change, you have to learn how to walk first, which means you have to take those wobbly baby steps. And sometimes you are going to fall down and you have to pick yourself back up. And also ask a friend to help you, or, a family member or a partner or whoever. Ask somebody to help you. If you're really, really serious about it, like Llama Mama was one that helped me keep myself in check. I asked her to please help, encourage me to stay on top of stuff, and she still does. Um, she'll ask me, "Have you done your yoga today?" And no, I have not. But the point is, she, and you can tell them like what is the best way, find the best way that's going to be encouraging, not discouraging. Instead of it, it could be maybe a matter of tone of voice or the way they ask or something, because you again want to try to find the best way for it to be more encouraging than discouraging. So that's the thing to focus on. You definitely need to try to focus on the positives, which is hard because our brain naturally wants to focus on the negatives. It is an automatic response. So it is a very difficult thing, and I understand that it's a challenge. But and when you start to get too down, and especially if you're really starting to feel like, you're ready to give up on your goal, think about the progress you've made. Because I think you'll be surprised how much progress you've made, and it could be the smallest thing, but that smallest thing means everything. Now, I did mention earlier manifestation. So, there's a lot of different ways that people do manifestation, but instead of it being, it's a, trying to think. Um, it's just a different way of trying to think about it. Like you think about it more like you're already there, like you're already seeing the finish line. Um, you're confident. It's a confidence, I think. Part of it is confidence, is that you're putting more confidence into it instead of looking at it so scary. There's lots of other things that can go in with all of that. Um but definitely try to focus more positively, and don't get upset if you don't accomplish as much as you want to, because it happens. And it's totally okay that if January 1st you're going in and tough on into the gym, but then it kind of gets a little bit harder. And if you notice by the end of the month you're not going to the gym anymore, then find out if that's still what you want, if there's maybe a different way you want to go about it, or try to get yourself back into it. Again, make the smaller, realistic goals. And I mean, they can be so, so small, so small, so small. Like I said, you drink more water. Like, that's an important thing for being healthy. I'm terrible at this. I have gotten a lot better at it. But that was something that I really had to make a goal for myself, was to drink more water. And that was an ultimate goal for lots of other things. There's so many different things that I know people have for New Year's resolutions, but don't get upset when you hear other people who have New Year's resolutions and they seem all big and extravagant. Don't get upset if you don't have any. Or and if someone asks you what's your New Year's resolution, because people do it to me all the time. People ask me what's my New Year's resolution, and I simply say I don't believe in New Year's resolution. I just do what I want to do and what I need to do. Because I won't even do like, oh, starting Monday. Like I'll be like, it's Wednesday. Let me actually get my shit together and go out and, you know, get my drink my aloe and go on my walk and all that. Like I try not to do, because the minute I do like that whole, oh, you know what? I'll wait until Monday where it's the start of the week. It doesn't tend to work, because then the start of the week comes and something happens and then it gets in the way. So, start it when opportunity comes, when it feels natural, when you feel that you can do it. Don't, because the minute you try to force yourself too hard on it too, it's gonna make it harder to do. And yeah, now of course there's gonna be, with certain things you do kind of have to, you need to push yourself, not necessarily force yourself, but push yourself. There is a difference. Because if you're pushing yourself, then, like you're pushing yourself to be better. If you're forcing yourself, when you force yourself, it puts a negative tone on things and you don't want to do it. And if you're like me and you're defiant, then you really don't want to do it. But if you push yourself to try to do better, to try to do this, then, you know, that's different. It will change. Definitely focus on the mindset of how you're going about this. And don't feel that you have to start anything on January 1st. Yes, it's a new year, which can be a great for a new mindset and stuff. And for, you know, it's just for me, the reason why I'm looking forward to this new year is, again, it's a new year, a new era, starting a clean slate from certain things uh that are no longer in my life, and I'm glad they're no longer in my life. So for me, that's been my biggest thing about the new year. I'm not focusing on what I want to accomplish or anything like that. I still just go, okay, I still am wanting to accomplish this right now. So, and I'm going to be doing that actually when I get off of here, kind of thing. So it has nothing to do, I'm not going to be timing it up with the new year. For me, the new year is just that fresh start of certain things being, that's a better way, I feel like, to look at the new year, instead of it being about, oh, new year, new me, new year, it's a clean slate. More of a leaving, definitely right now, like, especially we've got a couple days left of the new year, sit there and think about things that don't maybe serve you anymore, that aren't necessarily doing the best things for you, and try to figure out a way to dispel of them. That is something I recommend if you really want to try to do something with the new year, instead of focusing on unrealistic New Year's resolutions. And not that they're not feasible, they are possible, but it's better to just have goals like on an average day and do baby steps, baby steps. Um, but that's a better way, is, it is a fresh start. It is a good way to have a clean slate. So look at it as think about maybe some things, like if there's things that you need to get rid of, including people or uh, bad habits is another one that would be more of a goal thing, that's like baby steps and stuff. But yeah, if there's certain things that that you can just go ahead and get rid of, that you can just leave behind, this is definitely a great time to look at that. We've got a few days left. Look at that, think about it, and leave it behind. Because yes, that is the great thing about the new year, is then you've got that new start without all of that. Because for me, that's my biggest thing about the new year, is I'm very much looking forward to starting the new year with people that I want to be in my life, and having a new year that doesn't involve really bad, toxic, horrible people. I'm very much looking forward to a fresh start away from all of that. So do that. Focus on that. If you really want to focus on something about like new year, new me, new, all that, focus more on clean slate. And that, again, this is something that doesn't necessarily line up with the new year. Sometimes it ends up happening in the middle of whatever. But I mean, at least for me, I'm more thinking of, I'm ready to start a year where these people are not in my life at all. That's what I'm looking forward to. And going into the year with people that I'm glad are in my life, like people that I'm, wanting to have more in my life and everything. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with New Year's, is that however you view New Year's is completely okay. Um And just like anything else that we talk about with mental health, do not let the influences of others affect what you need. Okay? Don't let people pressure you or make you feel bad or anything if you choose to not have a New Year's resolution. Stand up for yourself and you go, I have a goal that I'm going to do. That's it. And it's just another month. And I'm going to start it when I can. Because they just unrealistic. It's the whole unrealistic expectations. It's not that it's impossible to get to these big goals, but sometimes they take a lot longer than a year. So then when you don't achieve it by the end of the year, you get upset. Or when you start not to see, if you don't see the progress as quickly as you want, you start to get upset. So it's better to just focus on baby steps. Have a goal like just any other day. Just like your goal is to go get milk today. It should be no different. What normally would be you would put as a New Year's resolution should be no different than I wanted to make sure I go get groceries, something, or I go do my that I do my laundry today. I need to make sure I do my laundry because I'm out of clean clothes. It should be no different. And you shouldn't don't make the new year be the thing that forces you into it. If that's what works, that's fine. But typically speaking, it doesn't. It's not the best way to go about it. Um, you know, just because you don't, I mean, some people plan for laundry day, but a lot of times it's like, well, I don't, this is my last pair of clean clothes, so I've definitely got to get that laundry done now. And so that's kind of what you get it done. So just those baby steps, find those small goals and achieve them, and push yourself, think positively about it, focus on what you have achieved, and go slowly on achieving the next step. Don't leap, take the baby steps. And have the goal, instead of having a New Year's resolution, just have goals that you're working on when you work on it. And allow, if you want the new year to mean something, allow the new year to be a clean slate. So leave behind things that no longer serve you, that aren't doing anything good for you back in 2025, and start a new clean slate in 2026. That is something I recommend for the new year. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with New Year's. Because I know that the whole New Year's resolution thing becomes a very difficult thing, and it can really be harmful for our mental health when we set these big goals that seem extremely unrealistic when we start them, because we expect to go from, you know, 0 to 100, and it's not how you get, it's not how that works. You don't learn to drive on a freeway. Like, that's not where you first, you don't, when you start learning to drive, you don't start by race car driving. That's not how that works. You start with something smaller, basic streets that are like speed limit 25 kind of thing. You start smaller. So start smaller and be happy that you did that. And then move on to the next part of it. Push yourself. Don't force yourself, push yourself in a healthy way. Still listen to your body and listen to your mind and everything, and what is best for you. Make sure you still focus on taking care of you, because what it is, the most important thing is taking care of you than your goal, because if you're not taking care of your health properly, then it's going to interfere with your goal. So those are the things I recommend. Definitely for mental state, the best thing for New Year's I can recommend for good mental state is just to have, if you want to have goals that you want to continue to work on, or you want to start working on whenever you can, but definitely use this as a good mental state of putting away, whether that's people, thoughts, feelings, whatever, putting away things that no longer serve you, that are a negative impact on your life, keeping them in 2025, and bringing in something positive, having a nice clean slate for 2026. That is what I definitely suggest, with focusing on, with, definitely that whole one door closes, another one opens. So let the new year be that. Close the door on things that need to be closed on because they're not helping you in any way, and open up to fresh new possibilities. So, that's all I have for Mental Health Monday today. Like I said, I'll try my best to do Mental Health Monday sometime in January. In January, probably won't be towards the end of the month, because I do have my sympathetic nerve block towards the beginning of the month, and that does make things kind of chaotic. So, I will, like I said, I'll keep you guys updated on that. I will try my best though. But I hope you guys have a great new year. However you choose to celebrate it. If you don't choose to celebrate it, that is perfectly fine. I'm actually going to be, I think I'm going to be celebrating it by doing a stream. So if you guys have nothing to do on New Year's, come party with me on stream. We will we'll drink and play a game and have fun. So if you don't drink, that's totally fine. You can just come and have fun and watch me get stupid. So but yeah, if you want plans for the new year for New Year's Eve, um come hang out on stream. Otherwise, be safe and have a great new year. And I will see you guys for the next Mental Health Monday. I will see you guys in the next year. But I will be starting in a couple minutes. I will be starting a uh, short gaming stream for Marvel Rivals. So I hope to see you guys on the next stream. And I hope you guys have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye!